Hey, what's up? I'm Michael Rasica from YoungArchitect.com. I wanted to make this quick YouTube video called What is the ARE Bootcamp? But I also want to talk about how does it work and who is it for? But before we start talking about this stuff, I think it's important to discuss what the fundamental problem is with the architect registration exam. Let me tell you, it is the fact that it is a self-guided study process with no clear direction about how to actually go through this project of the architect exam, and it's completely alien to everything about how we were educated and how we work in offices. In architecture school, we'd sign up for a program. We were moving through a process with a group of people who were all working on the same project. There were milestones and deadlines. In the office, we're working collaboratively with, clients, contractors, consultants, coworkers. Architecture is probably the most collaborative profession there is. Except, boom, you get to the architect exam and hey, you're on your own. Figure it out. There's no clear direction as to how to go through this, and everyone's just on an island studying. Another problem with the architect exam is there's no deadlines. You and I both know that if someone asks us to get something done, it ain't going to get done unless they give us a deadline. And so back in 2015, I created a program called the ARE Bootcamp that really attacks all of these issues with the architect exam. And so really the intention of bootcamp is it works in two ways. The first way it works is it helps people who are at the very beginning of their architect exams, wrap their head around this crazy project. And I always tell them, I say, I'm going to hold your hand and show you how I study for the architect exam. It really gets people up and running and teaches them how to teach this information to themselves. The second way the bootcamp works is it helps people who are at the tail end of these exams, PPD, PDD. These last two tests are monsters, and it essentially just pushes them across that finish line. But I always talk about the bootcamp that it is a program. It's a program. This isn't like a college class where, I teach everyone everything they need to know to pass the architect exam and everyone just sits back and watches, because I think it would be a lot more powerful if I could teach everyone how to teach this stuff to themselves, so I don't have to keep selling boot camps to everyone if they want to pass their exams. Another really powerful aspect of the boot camp is we actually learn the content in a very manageable, logical sequence. One of the big problems a lot of people have is they start studying and they pick up a magnifying glass and they just look at it with a magnifying glass and they never put it down and look at the bigger picture. Or they do the opposite. They look at the bigger picture and they never pick up a magnifying glass and really learn how structures works. And so boot camp's been really good at, changing scales and looking at it from different angles, from different perspectives, from different authors, from a lot of different ways. And before we talk about how bootcamp works, I want to share with you my true passion in this ARE bootcamp program. And I'll be honest with you, it's not really about passing tests. It's not even about creating more architects. I actually disagree with NCARB and the AIA. I don't think we need more and more and more and more licensed architects. What I think we need is more knowledgeable, more skillful, more talented, more entrepreneurial architects. And one of the things I keep seeing happening with some of the other prep companies, and I've even heard NCARB talk about the architect exam sometimes almost as if it's like this annoying chore. Just study for 30 days, get it all done, buy this product. We've got everything you need to do. Just sit on the couch and watch these videos and you'll pass all of your exams. And you know what? I disagree. It suddenly seems like we get to this architect exam, no one wants to do this work. And, one of the really big philosophies and what I'm really passionate about in this bootcamp is I say, you know what? Even if you figure out how to pass these exams with doing the least amount of work, you're really just cheating yourself, because everything they're testing on this architect exam is the knowledge that we need after we're done passing tests to have successful careers. And so in this bootcamp, I say, we're going to learn this stuff. We're going to learn it at its core. We're really going to get a deep, deep foundation in, how the contracts work and how all the building technical stuff works. And we really learn the content at its core. And I say, if this is the minimum that we need to do to pass a test, we're going to set our sights up here and we're going to focus on becoming the best architects that we could be and really learning the craft of practicing architecture. And I'll be honest with you, the boot camp's been really powerful at, not just helping people pass exams, but really helping create better architects. If you could focus on becoming a better licensed architect, you'll pass these exams as a byproduct of that goal. And the boot camp's been really powerful at that. All right, let's talk about how does the ARE boot camp work. Like I said, there's two different programs. There's the Pro Practice Bootcamp for people who are at the very beginning of their architect exams. We go over the PCM, the PJM, the CE exam. We actually only study for one of the exams, but I make sure that everyone is, very well prepared after boot camp's over to just keep going and going and going and going. Second boot camp is called the Technical Boot Camp. This is for PPD, PDD. These are the last two exams. I won't let anyone sign up for this boot camp unless they've at least passed the pro practice exams and they have studied for and taken the programming and analysis tests. Passing programming and analysis is not a requirement, but taking the test is. Boot camp uses video chat. There's a lot of face-to-face communication, and we use video chat. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just open your laptop and boom, log in, and we start talking. There's a lot of one-on-one communication, like I said, and there's coaching. Every week, everyone meets with me for probably about an hour, and I check in, and I talk to every single person that's going on. We figure out what's working, what isn't working, and I guide, and I coach, and I lead, and I help people move through this thing. I got a lot of experience doing this. I've worked with well over 1,500 people in this bootcamp program. And so, I don't believe the one-size-fits-all approach works for everyone. And, the advice I give to Joe might be the complete opposite advice I give to Katie. We figure out what's going on with each person individually, and we personalize and customize and tailor the bootcamp program to meet the needs of each person who's enrolled in it. The bootcamp's got a curriculum. There's a methodology. I don't believe in just diving into the deep end. And so we take baby steps and we work our way in through this content and we move through it in a very logical sequence. The bootcamp's got a lot of tools. There's a lot of tools, there's a lot of resources, there's study materials. It's my job to make people's experiences studying for the architect exam easier, so I'm constantly creating, new information, doing research, looking up different things, and so there's just a lot of stuff we use as part of this program. Almost every night after work, there's a group of people who are working together and they're studying on the video chat channels. And I would say this has become really powerful for a lot of people to have a group of people. And I would even say, boot camp's a community. Once you take boot camp, you're in it forever until you've passed all of your exams. And the very last thing that happens as part of the ARE boot camp, this is actually one of the new things I've added recently, is when you are done with your exams, I am going to give you a shiny gold medal for all of your hard work and your sacrifices at becoming a licensed architect. So you're going to get a gold medal at the end of this process. All right, let's talk about who the bootcamp is for. I would say someone that wants direction and guidance. Maybe you've never taken an exam before. Maybe you've taken a couple of exams and just something's not working. I've often learned too, sometimes the people who have studied on their own very quickly start to put the pieces together and understand what wasn't working in the past. I'd also say, ARE bootcamp is a huge time commitment. Everyone in boot camp is working full time. People got kids. There's a lot of stuff going on, but the boot camp's been really powerful, helping very busy people find more time than they ever thought they had to actually study for the architect exam. But it's still a very big time commitment. I would say on average, the boot campers are probably studying about 15 hours a week independently on their own on top of doing this program. So it is a huge time commitment. I'd say this program's for someone who wants to work hard, learn, and really become successful in their careers. Like I said, that's my true passion, is really creating better architects and using this architect exam as an opportunity for professional development at getting better at the craft of practicing architecture. At the same time, boot camp isn't always for everyone. I would also say, boot camp's really just for the person who signed up. This can't be one of those things, where one person signs up and suddenly they share all my access to all my files and videos and resources and tools and all these different things. I actually have everyone sign an agreement that says that anything I give you that's a part of the ARE boot camp, you're not allowed to share this information with anyone who's not enrolled in the program. Boot camp, if you don't have permission to test, you can't sign up for boot camp. Sometimes people are like, oh, I just submitted all my paperwork and, we're just waiting on that. Let me into the boot camp. And I can't let anyone enroll because oftentimes there's problems with, the paperwork and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And this is such an intense program. I don't want anyone to go through it who cannot schedule a test. Boot camp cannot help anyone who's up against a rolling clock. There's nothing that the boot camp can do to perform any rolling clock miracles. I get people constantly contact me saying, Mike, I got 60 days until my rolling clock. Can you fix it? And I said, no, I wish you contacted me a year ago. Bootcamp can't, also, we can't work with people outside the US time zones. There's so much face-to-face communication with me and everyone else in the group. I've learned that when people have to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning to attend bootcamp, it's just not sustainable. All right, how do I sign up for the ARE Bootcamp? Just visit youngarchitect.com/ARE Bootcamp. There's a whole webpage there, and we've written, quite a bit of stuff. I would say read that whole webpage very carefully. There's a lot of fine print. Make sure you read all the fine print, everything on that webpage. About 3/4 of the page down, you'll see a button that says, click here to sign up now. The button's going to take you to a payment site. You make a payment. Immediately after you make that payment, you get redirected, and you even get an email from me that's saying, hey, I need you to fill out this questionnaire. You fill out the questionnaire, you give me all your data and info, and then Joanna from my team reaches out. She reaches out and says, hey, we need you to attend orientation. I do orientations like once a week for all the people who've recently signed up. And in the orientation, I run through everything, backwards and forwards, inside and out. I answer everyone's question. We talk about study materials. I give everyone stuff to start working on before bootcamp begins. And then, I get everyone set up, and on our very first meeting, we get started. And that's it, man. That's the boot camp in a nutshell. I hope this video was helpful. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and in YouTube, hit that thumbs up button to give it a like. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, everyone.